I'm reading from Vezos Habracha, from the Stone Edition by from Art Scroll Masorah. Yeah. Okay, so this is Devarim, Deuteronomy, chapters 33 and 34, the end of the 5 books of Moses. I'll read it in quotes, okay? I'm reading it verbatim. Okay. And this is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, bestowed upon the children of Israel before his death. He said, Hashem came from Sinai, having shown forth to them from Seir, having appeared on Mount Paran, and then approached with some of the holy myriads. From his right hand he presented the fiery Torah to them. Indeed, you loved the tribes greatly. All its holy ones were in your hands, for they planted themselves at your feet, bearing the yoke of your utterances. The Torah that Moses commanded us is the heritage of the congregation of Jacob. In Hebrew, this is a famous pasuk verse called Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe Merasha Kilas Yaakov. He became king over Yeshurun, when the numbers of the nation gathered the tribes of Israel in unity. May Reuven live and not die. May his population be included in the count. And this to Judah, and he said, Hearken, O Hashem, to Judah's voice, and return him to his people. May his hands fight his grievance, and may you be a healer against his enemies. Of Levi, he said, your Tumim and your Urim befit your devout one, whom you tested of Massa, and whom you challenged at the waters of Meribah. The one who said of his father and mother, I have not favored him. His brothers he didn't give recognition, and his children he didn't know. For they, the Levites, have observed your word, and your covenant they preserved. They shall teach your ordinances to Jacob, and your Torah to Israel. They shall place incense before your presence, and burnt offerings on your altar. Bless, O Hashem, his resources, and favor the work of his hands. Smash the loins of his foes and his enemies, that they may not rise. Of Benjamin he said, may Hashem's beloved dwell securely by him. He hovers over him all day long, and rests between his shoulders. Of Joseph he said, blessed by Hashem is his land, with the heavenly bounty of dew, and with the deep waters crouching below, and with the bounty of the sun's crops, and with the bounty of the moon's yield, with the quick ripening crops of the early mountains, and with the bounty of eternal hills, with the bounty of the land and its fullness, and by the favor of he who rests upon the thorn bush. May this blessing rest upon Joseph's head, upon the crown of he who was separated from his brothers. A sovereignty is his ox-like one, majesty is his, and his glory will be like the horns of a re'im, like an ox, they say, is a rim. With them shall he gore nations together to the ends of the land. They are the myriads of Ephraim and the thousands at Manasseh. Of Zvulun he said, rejoice, O Zvulun, in your excursions, and Issachar in your tents. The tribes will assemble at the mountain. There they will slaughter offerings of righteousness. For the riches of the sea they will be nourished, and by the treasures concealed in the sand. I'm going to pause here and say what's interesting about the Zvulun and Issachar. They had a brothership, a partnership. Issachar would learn, Zvulun would support him. Of Gad, he said, blessed is he who broadens God, he dwells like a lion, tearing off arm and even head. He chose the first portion for himself, for that is where the lawgiver's plot is hidden. He came at the head of the nation, carrying out Hashem's justice and his ordinances with Israel. Of Dan he said, Dan is a lion cub, leaping forth from the Bashan. Of Naphtali he said, Naphtali satiated with favor and filled with Hashem's blessing. Go possess the sea and its south shore. Of Asher he said, the most blessed of children is Asher. He shall be pleasing to his brothers and dip his feet in oil. May your borders be sealed like iron and copper, the like the days of your prime. So may your old age be. There is none like God, O Yeshurun. He rides across heaven to help you, and in his majesty through the upper heights, that is, the abode of God, immemorial, and below are the world's mighty ones. He drove the enemy away from before you, and he said, destroy. Thus Israel shall dwell secure, solitary in the likeness of Jacob, Yaakov, in a land of grain and wine, even as heavens shall drip with dew. Fortunate are you, O Israel, who is like you, O people delivered by Hashem, the shield of your help, who is the sword of your grandeur. Your foes will try to deceive you, but you will trample them, their haughty ones. Chapter 34, Moses ascended from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the summit of the cliff that faces Jericho. And Hashem showed him the entire land. The Gilead, as far as Dan, all of Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, the entire land of Judah, as far as the western sea. I'm going to pause here and say, Shimon wasn't mentioned, but Shimon's area was inside of Judah. The Negev and the plain, the valley of Jericho, city of date palms as far as Zoar. And Hashem said to him, this is the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, saying, to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, saying, I'll give it to your offspring. I've let you see it with your own eyes, but you shall not cross over to there. So Moses, servant of Hashem, died there in the land of Moab by the mouth of Hashem. He buried him in the depression in the land of Moab, opposite Beis Peor, and no one knows his burial place to this day. Moshe was 120 years old when he died. His eye had not dimmed, and his vigor had not diminished. The children of Israel bewailed Moses in the plains of Moab for 30 days. Then the days of tearful mourning for Moses ended. Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moshe had laid his hands upon him. So the children of Israel obeyed him and did as Hashem had commanded Moses. Never again has there arisen in Israel a prophet like Moshe, whom Hashem had known face to face, as evidenced by all the signs and wonders that Hashem sent him to perform in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his courtiers and all his land, and by all the strong hand and awesome power that Moses performed before the eyes of all Israel. And I will stop here. I wish you a blessed rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.